time, because all that time you spent on MODOK could have been spent on expanding Hope's character and making her an actual character of use instead of being a background character when her name's in the title. Now, if we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, meaning like Ant-Man and Janet the Wasp. Whoa. Hold on 2 seconds. Wait. Hold on. Hey you, welcome to Movies and Melanin. If you're new here, hi, I'm VerShona, nice to meet you. And if you're returning, welcome home. You already know where everything is. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out this weekend, and I thought I would kind of break down what you're walking into without spoilers and have a spoiler-free discussion and conversation after. So if you do not want spoilers, watch until this timestamp. If you want spoilers, if you've seen the movie and you want to hear me just talk about it, skip to this timestamp. If all hearts and minds are satisfied, all decisions have been made. All right, let's hit play. So what to know when you're walking in. The movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes and we'll have 2 after credit scenes. The first kind of discussing the future of the Kang dynasty and the second connecting it to a future Marvel project. Who are the main players in this movie? First, of course, is Ant-Man, aka Scott Lang. He is an Avenger who fought alongside Captain America during Civil War and Endgame. And he got stuck in the quantum realm after the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and in between Infinity War and the beginning of the Endgame events. Cassie Lang. Cassie Lang is Scott's daughter. We first met her in the first Ant-Man movie when she was a little kid, and she was notably used as bait by Darren Cross, aka the Yellow Jacket, to lure Scott to him. Hank Pym. So Hank Pym is an entomologist and physicist who developed the Ant-Man suit and the Pym particles. He worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. as a consultant and became the original Ant-Man, fighting beside his own wife, Janet Van Dyne, who had taken on the mantle of the Wasp before she sacrificed herself on a mission and got stuck in the quantum realm for 30 years. So our big bad, our villain, is Kang the Conqueror. Kang is a time-traveling supervillain who has faced off against several Marvel superheroes. Kang the Conqueror's powers are mostly within his brain and his technology. He does not really have any superhuman abilities, so he's kind of like Tony Stark, where his technology and his intelligence give him the ability to travel through space and time. All right, where are we in the MCU timeline? Or when? So when are we in the MCU timeline? The movie takes place in the MCU's 2025, after the events of Loki, where we're introduced to Kang, variants, and the multiverse. But it is during the events of Black Panther's Wakanda Forever. We see that as Anderson Cooper is talking about the reinstatement of Queen Ramonda as ruler of Wakanda. On the bottom scroll, you kind of see Scott Lang talking about his memoir, Look Out for the Little Guy. So where are we? In Ant-Man and the Wasp, we're introduced to the idea of the quantum realm. The quantum realm is a subatomic universe that exists beyond our own reality and beyond space and time. The quantum realm plays a vital role in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and is home to very strange and unique creatures. So we're done with the recap. If you don't want spoilers, go ahead and click off, watch the movie, then come back. If you don't mind spoilers and just want to hear my opinion on it, go ahead and sit tight. Okay, let's do it. Let's break down this movie. Okay, so highs. The first one, I'm glad he didn't die. I'm so glad. I was nervous at first because Kang was smacking him around and I was like, hey now, hey. Please don't, like, oh my God. I was just very happy he did not die in this movie. He was getting close. And this is just a high for me because I am a Star Wars person. The movie kind of felt like I was watching a Star Wars movie. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt that way. Even within like Kang's bridge design and the way the hallways were. And there's like a specific line in the movie. Janet was telling it when she was telling the story about her and Kang, is that he turned his prison and made it into his empire. If I didn't feel the way before, after that line, I couldn't unsee it. There's a hallway scene where Cassie is trying to escape. Bam, bam, 2 guards, whatever. And then the new soldiers are coming down the hallway. I kid you not, if those soldiers were wearing white and the hallway was just white and gray, it was the Empire. I mean, even when they were eating dinner with Kryler, it felt like they were eating a dinner in a cantina. It just felt like a Star Wars movie with Marvel characters. That might just be me. I don't know if anyone else felt that way. If you did, let me know because I couldn't unsee it. Okay, yeah, so the world building was really, really cool. It was really, really expansive. A universe that we it's always been described as a prison. It was really, really beautiful and expansive, and to see all these different species and these humanoids, it was a lot prettier than I thought it would be. It was also nice to see that Janet and Kang had made a home from a prison. Janet at the very beginning, but she made a home. She had a farm, she had a house, she had all these things. And so did Kang. Kang, even after he got his suit back, built a whole empire in a subatomic reality. So let's talk about colors for a second, because I think the color scheming in this movie was really, really important, and it played a very vital role. When Scott and Cassie first land in the quantum realm, they are surrounded by a bunch of reds and purples and pinks and oranges. So red is kind of described as beauty and excitement, but it could also be a color of death. Purple is the color of fantasy, it's ethereal, it's an illusion, it's mystery, but it could also mean nobility and royalty, which is why Kang wearing purple was really, really cool, but I'll get back to that in a second. When Hank, Janet, and Hope landed to the quantum realm, they're surrounded by yellows and oranges and browns. So yellow is the color of wisdom and knowledge, but it is also the color that kind of describes being naive and cowardice. Orange combines the sensations that are kind of with memory and nostalgia, and brown is the earth, outdoor simplicity. So I feel like with the orange talking about nostalgia and memory, this is Janet's home. It was her home for 30 years. That nostalgia and memory kind of applies specifically to her. But then when you talk about Hope, she's literally wearing yellow in a world that's surrounding her literally with yellow, browns, and oranges, because she's naive to the situation. She had no idea any of this stuff was here. So you kind of see those two colors come into play without them having to say a word. And then going back to Scott and Cassie, Scott is literally wearing red, and with highlights of red, purple, and pink around him. So when I was saying red is like beauty and excitement, the first thing he says is like, we're in a weird world, but look how beautiful it is. This is cool. Those are some of the first words he says after he and Cassie get stable again. Color really plays a very interesting role. And when I break down Kang a little later, that's when I'll talk about his colors of purple and green, because that plays a major role of who he is as a character. So I truly feel like the theater makes your experience, and I had the opportunity to go to an advanced screening, and I was able to watch it with other movie critics and Marvel fans. So the theater was very open and receptive to jokes, and everyone knows what kind of energy to expect from Ant-Man. So a lot of those jokes didn't fly over your head, it landed every single time. The theater was full of laughter. I laughed out loud at certain points, specifically any joke having to do with Darren. I think I specifically laughed out loud because MODOK was one of my favorite characters growing up, especially like Marvel superheroes and what was it, Superhero Club? I don't remember what the Marvel TV show was, but I always loved MODOK. I thought he was so interesting and like a really complicated villain. So there is this one joke where Darren, he's like, I am Darren! And that's when Kang is getting attacked with all the ants. And the way Kang just goes, I don't know why it's so funny to me. I don't think that was meant to be a joke. I don't even think that was meant to be so funny to me. I think the joke is supposed to be like, I am Darren. But I kid you not, when Kang hit the, like, bro, you're crazy. I don't know why it was so funny to me. Oh, Lord. So the actors' performances from Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne and Jonathan Majors for Kang the Conqueror, they carried the movie for me. We already knew Kang was going to carry. Jonathan Majors is a phenomenal actor. We've seen his work in, for me anyways, some of my favorites from him is Lovecraft Country and The Harder They Fall. Both, he was phenomenal. The range was there. So for him to come into this movie and act just so regal and daring, he came on screen and he stole all the attention. Ant-Man didn't matter, Cassie didn't matter, Janet didn't matter. I think that's a different energy from Thanos because we were introduced to Thanos so slowly. We had a facial grin from here, the fun, I'll handle it myself. You had all these different moments from him that were teasing it. Because he came out so strong in Loki season 1 and we saw him out front, it's just like, this is just one of me. Good luck. Dead. Okay. And for Kang the Conqueror to come back like this, it was just A lot of people didn't know what to expect from him necessarily, but those who read the comics, watched the TV show, we all know what kind of power to expect from him. And he completely did it. He delivered. No, was this the full range of his powers? No, but I do think that they needed room to grow for him because this is the beginning of the Kang dynasty. This is the beginning of the multiversal era. So there needs to be room to grow. So for this to be the first introduction to Kang the Conqueror, this is pretty good. And I loved the blue skin and how they incorporated it as a part of the suit, not necessarily a part of him. It was really, really cool for me. Ooh, it doesn't help that he is so fine. Jonathan Majors is so beautiful and so handsome. Can I really be mad that I was rooting for him the whole time? If he really would have killed Ant-Man, could I have been mad? Was I gonna be mad? I don't know. Now, Janet Van Dyne, Michelle Pfeiffer, phenomenal job. And the way her facial acting was when it was just her and Kang when they were first meeting each other, I would love to see both Janet Van Dyne and Wanda Maximoff in one scene and just kind of have that acting prowess, because her face and her acting was very similar to when Wanda was talking to Doctor Strange. It was like talking about her patience while she was at, was it Kahndaq? Kamar-Taj. Kahndaq. Kahndaq is a place. I'm gonna look up where that is. I know that from someone. The face was just giving. And throughout her performance, like, looking to see how mysterious, how strong she was, how knowledgeable she was about the quantum realm, all of that just fed into the mysterious and the power that her character had in the movie. Both of them were phenomenal. Both of them were phenomenal, and I think out of all the characters, the two of them are what made the movie really interesting. All right, so now that we talked about highs, let's talk about lows. I don't know, the cuts in between scenes in this movie kind of bothered me. In the specific sequence of them first getting to the quantum realm and getting taken by, like, I'll call them the lower dwellers, and then Janet, Hank, and Hope exploring the quantum realm on their end, the cuts in between scenes, it kind of felt like they were cutting in between sentences. So them pulling Ant-Man in and saying, drink the ooze, and it automatically cutting to Janet, Hope, and Hank trying to talk to the desert riders, I'll call them. And then going right back to drink the ooze. I'm like, finish the sentence, finish the scene, and then let's go back to Janet, Hope, and Hank. Like, there's no reason to cut in between like that because it's making the movie longer than it needs to be. Okay, so another low was like the amount of times they said the word him in addressing Kang. It kind of felt like if they said the word Kang the Conqueror, he was gonna come up like Kang, like it's Beetlejuice, or it's like He Who Shall Not Be Named for all my Harry Potter people. For that movie, yeah, it's fine because that's spread over 7 or 8 movies. For this one, the amount of times they said the word him probably would have taken up like 5 to 10 minutes of runtime, I have to say, because they said it quite a lot. And then the amount of times that Hank said the word ants. What, I like ants. My ants. Ant. Got it, you like ants. You didn't have to say it for half your dialogue because most of it was either, wow, I didn't know this existed, or ants. And for ants not to be a pivotal role until about the end of the movie, didn't need to be said as much. That's just me. Yeah, and the next thing, MODOK and Kang were so shiny. Their whole city was shiny. Like it was giving aluminum foil shiny. That just bothered me because I know animators and CGI artists and FX artists, you have to put in that amount of shininess. And I don't know if that's like a new MCU thing, because even in Spider-Man No Way Home, his suit was kind of shiny at the very end when we did the comic accurate suit. So if that's the new look, then great. But Ant-Man, Cassie's, and the Wasp suits were very matte. So for theirs to be matte and then Kang and MODOK to be very, very shiny, I don't know. I don't know, maybe that was intentional, but I just think the shininess was a lot and didn't need to be. And sadly, Hope, talking about Hope, her character kind of was just unnecessary. It felt like her character was kind of just like a hired gun, if that makes sense. Like anytime she got involved in a scene, she was in the background for almost every single scene, or she would just say quippy one-liners. Like her character wasn't really needed, and it's kind of a shame, especially like for her role in the last couple movies were so pivotal. And maybe they had to minimize her role so that Janet can shine, and that's great. But why put her in the movie then? Just leave her on Earth, let the rest of them go to the quantum realm. She didn't need to go. The only reason she was important to me was to save Scott at the very end with her little gun, her 2 little guns. She wasn't really a pivotal character in the story. And for it to be called Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, she should have played a bigger role. And I think one of the last things, Marvel, please stop killing characters after one movie. MODOK did not need to die. Kang could die, we have multiple variants. But to introduce MODOK to do all that work, and then to kill him after one movie, the idea of using Darren Cross as MODOK was genius. It was genius, loved his backstory and everything. But for you to kill him off? For what? Why include him in the movie then? Because his stuff was not that funny. For him to be killed off that quick, it wasn't that funny. So please stop killing off such great characters after one movie. I think there is a channel I follow, I think it's Art Spear Entertainment. They had a little clip in one of their funny videos where it was Loki giving a lesson of how not to be a one-time villain. And I thought it was so funny because literally Loki and Thanos are the only 2 that really got to last multiple movies. And Ultron and all these other villains are so great. If you know their stories, they're so great. But the MCU just kind of did them dirty. So and maybe they'll bring them back because, you know, if you don't see them, if they don't get double tapped, technically they're not really dead sometimes. But stop killing these characters after one movie, please. They're like, don't go through all the work to design them, create a backstory, do all that just to kill them off. That's just, it's sad and it's a waste of time. Because all that time you spent on MODOK could have been spent on expanding Hope's character and making her an actual character of use instead of being a background character when her name's in the title. Now, ooh, I don't know why I just thought about this. Now, if we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, meaning like Scott and the Wasp and Ant-Man and Janet the Wasp. Whoa. Hold on 2 seconds. Wait. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I just talked myself into a circle because now that makes sense because they're not talking about Hope the Wasp, they're talking about Janet. Whoa. Okay, I take it back. I'm gonna take it back. I'm going to strike what I said, and y'all probably won't even see what I said because I'm gonna strike it all together. But now the title of the movie makes sense because they're not talking about Hope as the Wasp. They're talking about Janet. That is nowhere in my notes. That just came out while I was talking. Wow, okay. Well, now to end my lows on a high note, those after credit scenes, the pure excitement that the variants had when all of them were popping up in the arena, and they were like, ah, that's literally how I felt and how my theater felt when I watched it, because we know that this is about to go crazy, because when they said, I called all of us, and the Coliseum was just filling with people, filling with them. And I'm like, ooh, the War of Kang is really, it's gonna be interesting. And of course I knew there was a lot of them, but when their army of just them is on an end game level army by themselves, not 10, 15 movies setting up this army, no. One movie, we got an army. Okay, well, okay. They said they're touching the multiverse and they shouldn't be. Let's fix this. Do you know how cocky you have to be to have an army of just you? Army of just you, that you're so skilled, that you're so secure that you have an army of just you. I'm pretty sure most of them have built multiple empires, multiple everythings. They didn't bring their armies. It's just them. I'm not ready. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm scared for the Avengers. And the fact that none of them are communicating, I just kind of wish they had a group chat. Say, hey, I'm dealing with Kang over here. Loki would text, yo, me too. Oh, we should talk. Oh, my 10 rings are sending a signal to a place. Oh, it's probably the quantum realm. What's the quantum realm? I wish they would just talk, have a conversation. And so they wouldn't be going into stuff blind. That'd be great. But then it wouldn't make good movies, so, you know, and we wouldn't pay for tickets if it was logical, so. You already know. Overall, my score for this movie is about a 7.5 out of 10. It's really fun to watch. If you like the space explorer, if you like Ant-Man as a character, if you like those kind of movies, this is the movie for you. Kang is a phenomenal villain. Janet is a phenomenal character, and Ant-Man delivers. The humor's there. Everything that you expect from an Ant-Man movie is there. And with all that being said, that is the review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. A few notes though, I am going on IG Live with Movies with Jay on Monday, February 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to have a bigger conversation and deeper conversation about the movie, go ahead and jump on in there and join us on that conversation on IG. And if you liked the video and you enjoyed yourself, you want to watch it again, go ahead and watch that video again. And if not, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.